Have you ever seen panels on a messed up roof? Do you ever think to yourself, is my roof good enough? Well, today this video is strictly about how to tell if your roof is fit for solar. What's up? I'm Shamarr Tolbert, and I make going solar super easy for homeowners just like yourself, so you guys finally can get the right size solar system installed for the home literally in 45 days or less. But most importantly, I help homeowners save money and become more energy independent. So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you 6 tips on how to know if your roof is fit to go solar, right? And stick to the end, because tip number 4, I'm actually going to give you a bonus that you can actually download today. And then tip number 6, I'm actually show you how you can still go solar with a bad roof, right? So let's get right into it. So tip number 1 for you guys today is knowing your roof, right? You want to know what type of roof do you have, right? Because it's some materials work better with the solar installations than other, right? So I'm going to show the 7 most common roofs that I actually come across. And the first type is actually the asphalt roof, right? That's one of the most common roofs that I see here today, and it's the easiest to actually install on. The next one is going to be a corrugated metal roof. We also have the standing seam roofs, and we also have clay tile roofs, and then we also have rubber roofs, right? Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, right? Because it gets a little bit harder to install when it comes to slate roofs, right? If your roof is made of slate, or if it's made of wood shingles, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, because those materials are more like brittle, and sometimes they can't withstand the weight of the installation itself, not necessarily the panels, right? And the second type of roof that's pretty hard to install on is going to be your cedar wood roofs, right? Your wood roofs. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're stuck with the utility forever if you got like slate or wood, right? There's actually special mounts or special equipment that they can use to install any type of array, right? So if you do have to take that route, just anticipate like a slightly longer and a slightly more complex installation for that, right? So tip number 2 for you guys is actually the roof style and your slope. This is things you want to know, right? Because the solar panels, they need a certain amount of space to actually be installed properly, right? So ideally, it's going to be a large rectangular roof free of like any vents, chimneys, but every home, they definitely have different arrangements, right? Fortunately for you guys, most professional installers, they're actually familiar with the different type of roof configurations, and they can actually just work around it, right? When it comes to your slope, right? If you set your array too flat, sometimes it can reduce the efficiency of that panel, right? But however, on the flip, if you do set it up too steep, you might be limiting the amount of sun that the panels can actually take in, right? So generally speaking, you want it to be around 20 to 30 degree tilt. That'll actually work pretty well. However, if you're further up north, you're probably going to need it a lot more steeper, right? So it's possible to actually replace your roof after you actually had the panel installed, right? But why? Why would you do that, right? You actually pay more for uninstalling them and then get them reinstalled, right? Most solar installation companies, right? Most of the companies, they have warranties that last up to like 25, 30 years, right? However, most arrays, most panels, they keep working long after that, right? So typically speaking, if your roof is between 5 to 10 years old, you're in about good shape. Otherwise, you're going to want to get the roof done before or while you're actually, or it's technically going to have to still be before, but you can do it at the same time that you're getting solar, right? So tip number 4, you want to actually know how much sun your roof gets, right? The roof sun exposure, right? Ideally, you want to make sure that it gets a full sun exposure, right, from day to night, right, from around like 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. You want to make sure that you get a lot of sun between those hours, 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. all year long. That'd be your optimal state of production, right? So another thing to look for is actually obstructions or that cause shade. Everything from like trees, from your neighbors, any buildings, chimneys, or actually any other panels that may have been tilted, right? So what I want you guys to do is actually go ahead and save this website that you see right here. This will actually show you the amount of sun exposure you actually get, right? So you go ahead, save that. I'll put the link down in the description below. That way you can actually save that so you can actually see how much sun your roof actually gets, right? Go ahead and save that into your phone, into your favorites. That way when you're ready to check the exposure of your roof or whatever, you'll have that, you'll be good to go, okay? The next thing is tip number 5, your roof direction. And I said it was tip number 4 where you actually get a bonus that you can download. It's actually tip number 5, and that's this one right here, right? So the direction your roof faces also impacts the production of the solar panels as well, right? So typically you want a southwest facing roof because that'll produce more energy with less panels, right? Okay, so with this app, it actually makes it easy for you to find the direction your roof actually faces, right? So go ahead, you can download that app as well on Google Play, Apple, whatever you have. I'll put the link down in the description as well, okay? Next thing. So what happens if your roof doesn't face south, right? So you're still good. You still can get a good energy output from the panels, even if it's facing like southeast, southwest, or even east or west, right? However, right, if you do choose east or west facing, right, you want to make sure like you eliminate all the shade, literally, because you're already taking less sun than a southwest facing roof, right, or a south facing roof, right? Tip number 6, going solar with a bad roof, right? So even if your roof isn't ideal, you still can actually go solar, right? So you can actually consider installing on other parts of your property, something like the garage or the shed, right? And if you don't have a garage, or if you don't have another part of the home that you can actually put the solar on, you should actually look into building a solar carport, right? So this will actually offer you some shade for your car to protect your car and all that, all while powering your home at the same time, right? So, and if all else fails, you can actually just get a ground mount, right? So I have a video all about ground mounts that I'll link down to the description. You can go ahead and watch that if you want to know more about ground mounts, but I'm gonna keep going here. So I wanted to throw in a little bonus for you guys. So let's just say all else fails, right? All else fails. Like, I don't want to do none of that, Shamarr, right? I don't want to do none of that. Okay, cool. So what you can do is you can actually invest into community solar projects, right? So this will actually give you the same benefits as rooftop solar without having to install it on your own property, right? So if all else fails, you want to call your city, you want to find out in your city to see if they have any like solar gardens or any other community solar programs in the area, and then you'll be able to get hooked up with a better rate plan and benefit from solar, just like rooftop, right? So that's pretty much it. A good base to get you started on knowing about your roof and your different situations that you may run into when it comes to getting your panels installed on your roof, right? So once you actually discover if your roof is good or which way you actually want to go, it's all about taking the next step, right? I'll put a link down into the description for my calendar. You can always book a time with me. If you have any questions, comments, concern, you can go ahead and book a call. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. That way you don't miss any content that I post. I'm gonna have content coming out daily, okay? Okay, so let's just recap what we talked about, right? So one, we talked about knowing your roof, right? You want to know what kind of roof you have. Is it asphalt? Is it corrugated metal? Is it wood? Is it slate? You want to know what type, because that'll determine how smooth your installation will go, right? 2, you want to know the orientation, the slopes of your roof, right? Do you have objects on your roof? Is your roof like a slant? Is it flat? These are things you need to know, because when it comes to production from the panels, it all matters, right? So 3, the condition of your roof. Anywhere from 5 to 10 years old, you just go ahead, you're good to go, right? You're good to go. Anywhere from 10 and above, you're going to want to go ahead and get that roof replaced before you go ahead and get that panels put on, because if not, you'll have to get them replaced. You'll have to pay for that, and then you'll have to pay again to get them reinstalled. Why do that? Just get them all at once, right? You can get your roof done and your solar all in one. That's a little trick for you as well. Yep, 4 and 5 kind of go together, like how much sun your roof actually gets, how much sun exposure your roof actually gets, and that kind of ties into number 5 with the direction of your roof. Which way does your roof sit? Is it south facing? Is it southwest facing? Those are the best scenarios, because you don't need a lot of panels to produce a lot, right? You can use a little bit of panels with a southwest facing roof, and you can still produce enough energy to offset 100% of your electricity, right? Okay, and then number 6, right? If all else fails, there's alternate ways that you can still go solar. Like if your roof is not good, you can do carports, you can do ground mounts, right? Or if you can't do any of that, you can go ahead and try to contact your local community and see if they have that community solar, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that bell for notifications. Once again, it's your boy Shamarr. Peace out. Alright guys, so I got the roof vent done. It look a little messy. I'm gonna clean it up and everything after it dry. But whoa. That's me falling off the van for like the 10th time. So be careful when you're doing your own van. But yeah, so I'm gonna wait till everything dry, and then yeah, I'm gonna clean it up and everything. It's gonna look a lot better. But I got the wires running through, as you can see here, and we're good to go. I'm gonna connect it and see if it's working and all that stuff.